Bear with me 1 second, Israel. All right. All right, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatham, Yahweh Shemar Thumb Bashem Yahushua, Priest and Officer 1000 Yadai. I'm covering the class this Thursday for Captain of 13,000, Shapar the Posh, Captain Shapar the Pod to be back and rocking and rolling next Thursday. I.S.U.P.K. I believe we are in the 6th day of Hanukkah. I want to say the 5th or the 6th day, and which is a glorious feast, man, when we remember what Mattathias and his righteous sons did, man, coming up against the Greeks and the Romans. Tonight we're going to go over that, and we're also going to go over why Christian is pagan worship. It's idolatry. But first, let's start with the Christmas being idolatry, I.S.U.P.K. Now, if I could, right? If I could. Young man, Chris, give me Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Y'all have any questions, type them in online. I'll be answering your questions as well. But the topic for tonight, man, we're going over the Feast of Hanukkah, of course, and we're also going to go over Christmas, which is pagan idol worship. We're going to go into the history of that too, because here's the one thing that the Christian church will never tell you. They're never going to tell you the truth about who the Israelites are, God's chosen people. And we are those people as Latinos and First Nation and Seminole Indians and Black men and women. And we cannot continue to do the lust of the oppressor, serving him and their gods and celebrating these holidays like I.S.U.P.K. Here's the problem. And I'm not trying to sound facetious, but here's the issue with our big issue with us serving the oppressor and doing their holidays. You put so much time in the word of mouth saying, I love God. Jesus is my husband. But you don't do nothing that God said. You don't do what Christ commanded us to do, man. The Most High, you know what I mean? They're not ordained Christmas. And Christ was not born on December 25th. We can go over that as well. The thing we got to realize, man, and it really comes down to this. I'm going to read it to you. Read Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 31. Both show up for me, William.
This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Envy thou not the oppressor. Don't envy the oppressor. You see them putting that pine tree in their house, let them do it. You see them decking the halls and decorating their homes with the silver and gold. Let them do it. Let them run their electric bill up, I.S.U.P.K. Let them run that bill up. First of all, what our people don't understand, Christmas is expensive. You know how much money the oppressor makes every year off of these holidays, and especially Christmas? It cripples impoverished Blacks and Latinos. When I'm talking about impoverished Blacks and Latinos, I'm talking about 90% of us, maybe 95. You're going to go broke. You know what I mean? Trying to envy the oppressor, let them do it. Let them have their pagan worship. And it doesn't just go for Christmas. Let them have birthdays. Let them have, you know what I mean, their New Year's in January. We're going to go over that too. The thing is, man, we got to envy thou not the oppressor. We ain't supposed to look at what the oppressor is doing and say, damn, I got to do that too. No. We're going to read about a righteous brother, man, Mattathias, who saw what they was doing. Who they tried to buy off. They tried to buy Mattathias off, I.S.U.P.K. They tried to toss him the bag. Mattathias wasn't like Steve Harvey. You know, Steve Harvey took that bag, Chris. Shaquille O'Neal took that bag. Papa John came out there, called us niggas, and guess what? Shaq was like, well, you know, we have to forgive him. You know what I mean? You have to forgive Papa John, and then you have to use the promo code Shaq. You know, Shaqzilla. You know what I mean? For the two large pizzas. In the wings, in the dipping sauce. He's a sellout nigga. He'd sold out. If they'd have came to Shaq, Steve Harvey, or Charles Barkley, the way they came at Matthias, they would have sold out. That's why you got to understand as blacks and Latinos why our history is important. Don't envy the oppressor. You look at what the oppressor has and say, I have to live like that. When we're going to live better. We're already better. We're already in a better situation. And you may think because we're in captivity, we're at such a low state. Understand this, man. I don't care what condition you are in, black, Latino, First Nation, man and woman. We are the Israelites of antiquity. We are God's chosen people. We are above everybody that the scripture says in Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. So we should look at them running their bills up and wanting to celebrate Christmas and laugh. And be like, let's go celebrate the Feast of Hanukkah. Let's celebrate the Feast of Purim. We got the Passover coming up in Raleigh, North Carolina. Don't envy the oppressor. They wish they could do it like us. They wish they could party like us, man. Hanukkah is an 8-day party, man. An 8-day party where blacks and Latinos, man, got together and remember what a strong brother Matthias and his sons did, coming up against the Greeks and the Romans, man. Envy thou not the oppressor. Read on.
And choose none of his ways.
And choose none of his ways. Don't choose any of these ways. Don't choose their Christmas. Don't choose their Christianity. Don't choose Islam. Don't do none of that. The Lord said, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. And guess what? Going out there and buying an evergreen pine tree, bringing it in your home, guess what? That is envy the oppressor and choosing their ways. We ain't supposed to do that. You got brothers and sisters out there that's going to do it. That's going to celebrate Christmas. First of all, most of your kids, y'all got your kids is failing every subject. Right. They got 25 missing Google assignments because they at home because of COVID. And you're going to go buy them a PS5? Pay your electric bill. Pay your rent. Pay your car note. Pay your mortgage. Save your money. First of all, why do I have to buy my kids a gift? Because the oppressor says so on a certain day. If I want to buy my kids a gift, I'll do it any other day. It's the same thing with Thanksgiving. Why do I got to get together with my family on the last Thursday in November? Why can't we get together any other day? Goes to show you, man, we're not supposed to choose none of the ways of these heathens. None of them. That's why the Lord said, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So we should look at Christmas. We should look at Thanksgiving and all of these other holidays and say, the hell with it. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Shalom, where y'all about to stuff. Go ahead, Ush.
Good, too. What everybody was saying is, our people will sit there all day and ask why we not unified, what we going to do to get ourselves out of this condition, but it's like you still operate according to what your oppressor told you. So you still celebrating this Christmas, celebrating this Thanksgiving, celebrating his birthdays, and they don't understand. You got to give what belongs to him back to him if you want to be a free and separate people. You can't go and celebrate Christmas with Donald Trump and you think Donald Trump is a racist. You understand what I'm saying? Or you know they have a history of murdering you. Like you and the Klan got the same religion. The Klan is celebrating Thanksgiving and you celebrate Thanksgiving. The Klan is buying their kids Christmas gift, dreaming of a white Christmas with the Santa Claus and all that, and you dreaming of a white Christmas with Santa Claus too. So it's like, how do you separate yourself from the person who's murdering you and destroying your people if you still love them? You still teaching your kids to love them for the next generation and generation after that. Even like that saying, this for the kids. Okay, now you're just making sure that your kids are indoctrinated after you another generation. Because they don't say it's for their kids. You see what I'm saying? So we're never going to get out from under white supremacy if we can't even give back what belongs to our oppressor. Because Christmas is not even real. Santa Claus is not real.
Man, give Isupk a hand. Isupk, you hit on something heavy, man. You hit on something so heavy. Is that we celebrating the same holidays that the Klan is celebrating. You celebrating the same holidays that Kyle Rittenhouse and Donald Trump celebrate, man. Isupk, find that picture, right, of them devils in the Klan. You know which picture I'm talking about. That Christmas picture. Them devils in the Klan and with the older brother and the sister right there. And they're making them hold that devil's hand while they in the back there with their red hoods on. That's what you getting ready to do. They terrorize our people, man. And they still do. So you're going to go and buy a tree for Christmas You're gonna do, and at the same time, be upset at the oppression that we face as blacks and Latinos. Like I was just in so I was just over there at the Isupk spot, Shabar. I was just over there, like, let me get my carne asada, man. Let me get my Mexican Coke. And I go in there and I see a goddamn Christmas tree. And you know what I thought to myself? Them same devils that worked for the Border Patrol, that was whipping our Haitian brothers and sisters, that don't let our Hispanic and Latino brothers and sisters come over here. They're gonna go home while our brothers and sisters are in cages and set up their Christmas trees. We have really been indoctrinated, and I'll take it a step further. That's how you know that Christianity is the mark of the beast. That is living proof right there that Christianity is the goddamn mark of the beast. Because you're doing everything that your oppressor daddy tells you. And it's either get down or lay down. You know what I mean? You do it by your actions. And that buying and selling, man, you seeing it right now with Kanye West when they seized his accounts, man. And you see it with our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, in the West Indian Islands. You see it in Cuba, where they can't import or export. That's buying and selling. That's dealing with commerce. That's how you know that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, that if you don't conform to Christianity, you don't conform to that, you're done. But it's righteous men and women, you know what I mean, that have not conformed to Christianity, man. They're in the Israelite school of U.P.K. If it's online for the class to see, if you're scared, look at this picture right here, man. The devil in the middle, sitting, you know what I mean, as Santa Claus. Got the Santa Claus hat on, an older Judite sister sitting right there holding their hands while the clan is back there. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. El hombre blanco es el diablo. That's why I'll never celebrate Christmas, man. That's why. Because of how they terrorize blacks and Latinos, man. This is why the Lord said this, man. Remember the days of old, man. We're supposed to remember Hanukkah. We're supposed to remember Purim. We're supposed to remember the Passover. Because this right here is what the oppressor does to us on a daily basis. And you mean to tell me, and this is why we have these classes, this is the history class, because this is history right here. This is history. And that wasn't that much long ago. That's why we can't celebrate these holidays, man. Because you celebrating the same holiday as our slave master. It ain't no different than bringing the grill out on the 4th of July. When in 1776, we were slaves. It ain't no different going out there on Valentine's Day, you know what I mean, and give your rib or your significant other, you know what I mean, or somebody you love a goddamn Valentine's Day card and heart, not realizing that you're serving a pagan god of Rome, man. Not realizing, man, that every time you get together on the last Thursday of November, you are dishonoring the Native American Indians and Seminole Indians. You are dishonoring the Latinos. You are dishonoring fellow blacks, man, the fellow Negroes, man. You can't do these things, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. We got to come back to what our God said. And as a matter of fact, we're going to get to it, Ash. Now, I want you to pull that article up, right? I just sent it to you. Leave this picture up, too. Leave it up. You could you don't gotta, you can leave it up for the class in here, but make me big again on the screen. I'll let you know when to cut back to it for the class online. But let me get that. First of all, also Shabar, hold Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Chris, hold Bobby, Amos 5 and 21. So Chris, hold Amos 5 and 21. And Shabar, hold Jeremiah 10 and 1. But first, I got an article. And this is from CBS News. CBS News said this. Can you read the title of it, Ashtawa?
It says the unexpected origins of popular Christmas traditions.
It says the unexpected origins of popular Christmas traditions. What are the unexpected popular Christmas origins, you might ask? Let's read, because this is from CBS. Go ahead.
If I could, just think about this picture and how terrified that would have to be. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta think the mindset about people just being terrorized by the oppressor, to where we'll lay down no matter what they say. You gonna read this, and we gonna tell our family that Christmas is not real, and they still gonna do it.
It's a damn shame, man. It's a damn shame. And one thing I look at when I look at these pictures like this, those oppressors in that background with them hoods on, they're your senators. They're your policemen. They're your firemen. It's your neighbor. It's Bill, Bob, and Fred. It's them. And that's what you got to realize, man. They hate us with a passion, and you love them. That's our problem as Blacks and Latinos, man. This is a part of history that they don't want us to know. They don't want us to know who the devil is, man. But we're going to go over that. Keep going, Ash.
Though December 25th is the day Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ.
Now, Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, Yahawashai Mashiach, right? You celebrating it around this time. But the scripture says that Christ was born around the time of tax season. Now, we all do our taxes. Tax season is what season, Chris?
Spring.
It's the springtime. You know what else time that was? Around the time of Passover. Around the time of the month of Abib. That's when Christ was born. Christ was born in the springtime. He wasn't born out there, you know what I mean, in the freezing cold of December. How do you know? Captain Ahmad Yashar went over this Tuesday night. First of all, I don't know if y'all realize that it get cold in Israel. Like, we got palm trees and stuff, but guess what, Shabar? It's snow over there. You can't be out there in them fields in November and December. Nah, you can't have the flocks out there. You can't. Christ wasn't born around that time. Christ was born around the time of the spring. So, even though Christians celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ December 25th, but Christ wasn't born on December 25th. I'm going to send you something else, Ash. I'm going to tell you who was. Nimrod was born on December 25th. Now, what you got to realize, right? As a matter of fact, yeah. And Nimrod, I'm going to send you another picture. Bear with me. Nimrod was a hunter on the earth, man. Nimrod was a so-called African. You know what I mean? Nimrod was of the lineage of Cush. Now, what you got will be a Cushite today, an Ethiopian, an African. Now, Nimrod was born on December 25th, and that's where the celebration of Christmas originates. Because when Nimrod was killed, his wife/mother, yes, his wife/mother, Ramesses, I want to say, Ashtawat. Well, you know what she did? She said, well, I have to keep my power. I have to keep this going. She told the people that the spirit of Nimrod went into the evergreen tree because it grew all year long. And they would come and they were commanded to bring gold and silver and gifts to that evergreen tree. And those that didn't, they would cut their heads off and put them on that tree. That's where you get the balls from. The little ball that you put on the Christmas tree. It comes from Nimrod. That stems all the way back to ancient Babylon. That's why America is Babylon the Great Whore. America is Egypt and Sodom, man. America is a wicked place that the Lord is going to destroy. Keep going, Ash. Keep reading the article. Get into the good part.
It says, the day itself and several of the customs we've come to associate with Christmas actually evolved from pagan traditions.
It evolved from what?
Pagan traditions.
It evolved from pagan traditions. Ooh-wee. This is a CBS News article saying that Christmas comes from pagan traditions. We ain't even go to the Bible yet. You ain't even get to the scriptures yet. This is what CBS knows. They know that because they've been watching us. The oppressor knows that Christmas is pagan. All of them know that these so-called holidays that they celebrate is pagan. But you don't want to believe us. But you'll believe your oppressor daddy when we pull their articles. And this is a CBS News article. Can you read it again?
It says, evolved from pagan traditions. Celebrating the winter solstice.
Celebrating the winter solstice. Meaning this, during the time of the winter solstice, like during the time, and it was so heavy. You know what I mean? With the changing of the seasons, they would look up in the sky looking for a sign. They had the harvest worship in that too, along with Halloween and Thanksgiving and transitioning over here to this period of Christmas. It's really just idol worship. They're celebrating the winter solstice. You know what I mean? Looking up in the sky, looking for a sign because the crops is dying. The oppressor is slow. So they decided to make it a holiday. Now you probably asking, what does that have to do with Christ? It's going to explain that too. Keep reading, Nash.
It said Christmas is really about bringing out your inner pagan.
Read that again.
Christmas is really about bringing out your inner pagan.
This isn't a CBS article, Chris. It says Christmas is about bringing out your inner pagan. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Like, you got to really think about it. Around this time, you're going out, you're buying gifts, you're saying that these gifts came from another man. You know what I mean? The real St. Nicholas was a black man in Russia that was giving out toys and gifts, you know what I mean, to children at orphanages, you know what I mean, who was a brother. They took him, made him a white man, you know what I mean, changed up his story, and then flipped it upside down. Goddamn, Ash. Goddamn. You're bringing out your inner pagan. Now you're going out buying a tree, buying gifts, giving that credit to a white man, Salakia, the oppressor, giving the credit to the oppressor. And then, you know what I mean, you don't even realize the ramifications of that, because that's like that is ideal idolatry. It is, because you're worshiping another god. Santa Claus is becoming your god. The winter solstice, Saturnalia, which we're going to get into, is now your god that you worship around this time. And we cannot continue to do that. Stop bringing out your inner pagan, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Keep going.
Historian Kenneth C. Davis told CBS News this morning.
Mm-hmm.
According to Davis, Christmas was celebrated as early as the 4th century,
Mm-hmm.
suggesting that it had almost nothing to do with Jesus Christ.
It had almost nothing to do, because it didn't have anything to do with Christ.
Right.
It didn't. Christmas has nothing to do with our King, Yahushua Mashiach. It does not. It's all just a scheme, a marketing scheme that they put together so they can make money and to keep the children of Israel in habitual sin, constant sin. Go ahead, Ash.
Good. What's happy about that too is, like, Christians think Christ is God. Well, they say don't have no God before me. Who the hell is that?
Exactly. Oh, I forgot I gave him a trial, Shabar. Every year since I've come into the truth, I've been giving old Saint Nicholas a trial. We find him guilty every year.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can call the Kangaroo Council. He had a jury of none of his peers, and this was his sentence, to be hanged. And he's gonna remain there. And goddamn, that's what you need to do with Santa Claus, man. What we doing with it? Hang it. Throw him out the goddamn window. And throw that picture of Caesar Borgia out the window too, man. Like, goddamn. Because this ain't real. That's not real. This is idolatry. This right here, you celebrating this is you bringing out your inner pagan. That's why you got to let it go, man. You got to let Christmas go. And which is heavy about what the article said. It said that you're bringing out your inner pagan, and it had nothing to do with Jesus Christ, Yahushua Mashiach. But keep reading.
It says, in ancient Rome, there was a feast called Saturnalia.
In ancient Rome, there was a feast called Saturnalia, which is the worship of the winter solstice. And what you got to realize, man, and which is so evil about it, this is what, you know what? It's amazing, Ashtawa. This goes into Arcanica. And I'm going to tell you why. What do you think the Greeks and Romans were celebrating when they conquered us? What do you think they were doing when they wanted us to eat their pork and when they were sacrificing pigs on our altars? They were celebrating their high holy days. They don't have high holy days. They have pagan days. They was trying to celebrate Christmas and to get us to do it. They came to Mattathias and was like, you take this silver and gold, you'll be one of the king's friends. Well, he'll invite you over for Saturnalia. You get to sit at the big table, eat a little bit of that pork, and you'll be all right. You get all the silver and gold. Goes to show you. That this right here, the scriptures say there is no new thing under the sun. Meaning this goes back to the 4th century. Meaning this is what the Greeks and the Romans were celebrating. Who were they oppressing in the 4th century? They were oppressing us, forcing their beliefs on everybody, including Israelites, blacks and Latinos. That's why we got to remember Hanukkah. That's why we got to remember our feast days and our high holy days. Keep going, Ash.
It says celebrating the solstice.
And celebrating the solstice. And listen, man, that's all just, you know what I mean? And it says the scriptures say in Daniel 7:25, man, that the oppressor changed times and laws. Like he was amazed, like around this time, about how the sun went down early and it was dark. That's them celebrating the winter solstice, looking up at the moon in the sky and the sun getting up in that. We can't do that. We cannot do that. And it says, and I'm gonna read a little bit more of it too. It said, and most of the traditions that we relate to Christmas relate to the solstice, which was celebrated in ancient Rome on December 25th. And the Romans celebrated this on December 25th because that's when Nimrod was born. Because all of these cultures, with their paganism, it goes back to where that paganism became most popular, and that was in Babylon. Why do you think the Lord equates this place to Babylon, to Egypt? All of these different, and you know what? I might as well go into the history of that before we go a little too far. Ashtawa, give me Daniel, the 7th chapter. Give me Daniel, the 7th chapter. Because which is so important, right? What we need to understand is that us in these times, being under the foot of the oppressor in these other nations, was prophesied in the Bible. Was prophesied that these things would happen because we disobeyed our God. And because we disobeyed our God, we've had different nations come and rule over us when we're the ones that are supposed to be in charge, man. We're the ones that are supposed to be running things, and we will be running things again. You better believe it. I pray you understand that. But let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Start at 7 and verse 1.
You said 7:1?
Daniel 7 and 1.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream.
Belshazzar was the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. You know what I mean? Nebuchadnezzar, you know what I mean, was king of Babylon, who came up against Daniel, who came up against Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And them brothers stood strong for the Most High. Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego was so one was, Chris. They said, even if the Lord doesn't save us from you in that burning furnace, we still ain't going to bow down and worship, you know what I mean, your pagan gods. And Daniel, man, they conspired against Daniel, man. They conspired against Daniel in the Hebrew, man. Conspired against their brother. Said, let's make it illegal for him to serve his God for 30 days. And what's the first thing Daniel did on that first day? Was serve the Most High and pray. Locked him up in the lion's den, man. And guess what? Guess what? Them lions ain't feast on Daniel. They didn't, because the Lord was with him, man. And Daniel ate while he was in the lion's den too, Ashtawa. The Lord sent an angel to pick up Habakkuk and drop him in Babylon. You know what I mean? So Daniel could eat. And Daniel said, man, the Lord God, you have remembered thy servant. You remembered me, man. You remembered me. That's the God we serve. And then those that conspired against Daniel, they got thrown in the lion's den. And the Lord said that the lions made a mastery of them. A mastery of them. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. That's the God that we serve. Now, Daniel was having a dream, man. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. Read on.
And visions of his head upon his bed.
Now, Daniel had visions, man, upon his head, upon his bed. Keep going.
Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters.
Keep going.
Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And the four winds that strove upon the heavens, upon the great sea. Upon the great sea. So Daniel, you know what I mean, saw those four winds coming up upon the great sea. Keep going. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. One that was one diverse from the other. Four great beasts. These great beasts is talking about different empires that was going to come out of the Mediterranean Sea, man. Those four winds, you know what I mean? Those four beasts
coming up against Israel, man, that was more diverse from another. Keep reading.
The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings.
The first was like a lion which had eagle's wings. This is talking about Babylon, ancient Babylon. If you look up, right, the Babylonian lion had eagle's wings on it. Keep going.
Oh God, I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man. And a man's heart was given to him.
And a man's heart was given up. So it was lifted up and made stood on his feet. This is talking about when the Babylonians took over. When Israel, you know what I mean? Jeremiah and Isaiah prophesied that this was going to happen. That if we didn't serve our God, that we were going to be conquered by the Babylonians. And that happened. And the Babylonians was the big superpower on the earth. Just like as Egypt was, you know what I mean, in the days, you know what I mean, of Moses, in the days of Abraham. Keep going.
And I beheld another beast, a second like to a bear.
The second like unto a bear. That second beast that came up, like it unto a bear, is talking about the Persians and the Medes. The Persians and the Medes. That's talking about the Persian Empire with the bear. Keep going.
And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh.
Devour much flesh. Because they came and conquered, you know what I mean, Darius and the king of the Persian and the Medes. They came and conquered Babylon. They came and took over. Now Babylon wasn't in charge, and Nebuchadnezzar and his sons. Now it was Darius, you know what I mean, of the Persian and the Medes, man. Now they are the ones that are in charge. Keep going.
After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard.
Now, here we go. Here we go. Another like a leopard. I.S.U.P.K, if you could find the picture of Alexander the Greek, I already gave it to you. Another that was like a leopard. Alexander the Greek, if you look up pictures of Alexander the Greek, you'll always see something on it. You know what I mean? And what represents him. Keep going. It says, and another rose up. And it said, another rose up like a leopard. Oh man, this is talking about the Greeks. That's who that's talking about. And what we have to understand, man, like, Either one of them pictures is good, Ush. You know, with Alexander the Greek with the leopard. Now, another rose up like a leopard. This is talking about the Greek Empire. This is when the oppressor started to take over. Because first it was Babylon. They got lifted up. They was ruling. Then the Persians and the Medes, they devoured much flesh. They devoured Babylon, took over from Darius, took over, you know what I mean, from Belshazzar and Nebuchadnezzar. Now Darius was in charge. But then here came the Greeks. Here came Alexander. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yup, there you go. There you go. Another rose up like a leopard. Keep going. Keep reading. Yeah. Yeah, we're getting into it tonight, Ush.
Which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl.
Which on the back of it had 4 wings like a fowl. Now, this is talking about the Greeks. Alexander the Greek. And guess what? This is when like it really started to get rough. This is when you thought things couldn't get worse. I.S.U.P.K. Here comes the oppressor. Here comes the devil. Keep going.
It says, which is like the beast had also 4 heads.
The beast also had 4 heads. The 4 heads was the generals that took up, you know what I mean, after Alexander. After Alexander died of syphilis, because he was a homosexual and sexual deviant himself, like all the Greeks and Romans. From 4 heads, those was his generals that he put in charge. Keep going.
And dominion was given to it.
And dominion was given to it. Now the Greek Empire is on top. They took over from the Persians and the Medes, which took over from Babylon. Keep going.
It says, after this, I saw in the night visions.
Oh man, here
And
we go.
behold, a fourth beast.
A fourth beast. Now this fourth beast was something more dreadful, was something more terrifying than the Greeks. You're probably wondering what was more terrifying than that. Keep going.
It says, dreadful and terrible.
Dreadful and terror. Keep going.
And strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth.
And it had great iron teeth. It had great iron teeth. This right here is talking about the Roman Empire. It's talking about the Romans. In Daniel, the 7th chapter, man, it's talking about, you know what I mean, those four empires that took over, that were ruling over us. First was Babylon, then the Persians and the Medes, then the Greeks. Now it's dealing with the Romans. But that iron and Rome, I didn't listen. That's another class, Shabar. That's a whole nother class. And I remember when Captain Shabar did it, breaking down Rome and how it was thought about Romulus and Remus, man. There were two homosexual, you know what I mean, devils. Goes to show you, man, that this is history that's right here in the Bible. It's right here in the Bible, man. Keep going. Keep going.
It says,
It devoured
and break into pieces.
It devoured and break in pieces. Now, keep going.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it.
And stamped the residue with the feet of it. It devoured and break in pieces. Now, but you got to realize, right? They say Rome fell, but it really didn't fall. Rome devoured everything that was around it. Like the Romans are still in charge right now. They're here in America. Here in America, they still over, you know what I mean, in ruling over there in the Vatican right there with that homosexual pope. Keep going. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, you know what I'm saying? This is what our people gotta definitely realize and draw the connection between the oppressor and his role in the Bible. Like this is talking about our oppressor in the Bible. This is the so-called white man in the Bible. This is his role, and he's the beast that was the Greeks, and then he's the beast that was the Romans and America. So
right. Damn right, Ash. And what we got to realize, man, which is so heavy about it, they're the ones that are still in charge now. Right. They still in charge now. Like it ain't go nowhere. It ain't go nowhere. It's going to talk about it. Keep going.
If I could, we celebrating Saturnalia today.
You celebrating Saturnalia of the winter solstice, Christmas today. Goes to show you we still in it. We still under the stamp and the residue of the Romans and the Greeks. Keep going.
And it was diverse from all the other beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. It had 10 horns.
It had 10 horns. Now, if you need the 10 horns, I'm going to read them to you. The 10 horns is the United States of America, Australia, Scotland, Ireland, Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, and Belgium. Those are the 10 horns. And I'll even give you the 7 heads in Revelations 2. England, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Russia, France, and Italy. This is the remnant of the Roman Empire. They still rule to this day. They still rule. The scriptures say what? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, man. And it had 10 horns. And listen, man, and what we got to realize, which is just so heavy about it, Isupk was saying, you're celebrating Saturnalia now. You're celebrating the winter solstice now. But what did our God say about us? We read in the article for CBS. We read here in Daniel the 7th chapter, those four beasts. And we know it's wrong. Now I'm going to get to the meat of it. Shabar, give me Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1.
For
what?
Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Meaning this, the Lord ain't talking to everybody. The Lord is not dealing with everybody. The Lord said this, man. It said, hear ye the word which the Lord saith unto you, O house of Israel. Read it again from the top, Shabar.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Meaning the Lord is talking to blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We're the house of Israel. We're the Jews of antiquity. Keep going.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
The Lord said, learn not the way of the heathen. Meaning, don't do what the heathen do. Like, don't go out there and celebrate Christmas. Don't go out there and celebrate your birthdays or Thanksgiving or January. The Lord has given clear instructions, man, to the children of Israel to learn not the way of the heathen. Keep going.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. Now, the heathen are dismayed at these signs of heaven. The heathen like to look up in the sky and look up at the sun, moon, and stars, you know what I mean, and look for that sign and get up in that astrology. Some of y'all with this astrology kill me, Shabar. Like some of y'all base y'all entire lives off of, oh my God, the day I was born or the time I was born, that I'm a Leo, that I'm a Virgo, I'm a Pisces rising, whatever the hell that means. Chris, I had a sister tell me that one day I'm gonna meet my husband. I'm gonna have red shoes on because my horoscope said so. I was like, yo, we just cannot be this ignorant and stupid. You know what I mean? We just cannot be this ignorant. And listen, I perpetuated the ignorance to an extent. I was like, you know what, sis? I read my horoscope too. And it said that I was gonna breathe today. She almost passed out, Chris. She was like, oh my God. Goes to show you, man, the Lord is telling us, learn not the way of the heathen and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. They're dismayed and confused at the signs of heaven. Keep going.
Verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
We're going to find out what the customs of the people are. The Lord said in Jeremiah 10 and verse 3 that the customs of the people are vain, meaning they're nothing. What custom is vain? We're going to read about it. Keep going.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
One cut of a tree out of the forest. Now, this is a custom that God said was vain. Now, you're cutting a tree out of the forest. Keep going.
The work of the hands of the workman.
The work of the hands of the workman. So you're going out there to a field and you're asking, hey, cut that tree down for me. Keep going.
With the axe.
With the axe. Keep going.
Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold.
What do they do with this tree?
Deck it in silver and with gold.
They decorate this tree with silver and gold. God said that this was a evil custom, that it was pagan. He said one cut of a tree out of the forest and they deck it with silver and with gold. Wait a minute. What do you do with that Christmas tree in your house? You deck the halls, right? You decorate it with silver and gold, man. I'm telling you, Chris, around this time, I like to think that Mariah Carey is in a hyperbolic time chamber like this. And as soon as Thanksgiving come around, they start to defrost her, and then she is born again. She must have made at least $500 billion off that song, man, which I cannot stand. And a lot of y'all can't stand it either, man. I like Mariah Carey as a singer too, but every time I hear that damn song, I be ready to listen. My ears start bleeding. Go to show you, and God is against it. Now we read it in Jeremiah the 10th chapter. That's why this is why the church has done us such a disservice, because we can clearly find this in the Bible. It's right here. It says the Lord is telling us what not to do. The Lord told us, yo, don't go out and cut a tree down. Don't put it in your house. Don't decorate it with silver and gold. What do we do as disobedient children of God? We go and do it. It's no different if you have children, right? Shabar, we got kids, right? You got kids and you tell your kids, hey, don't touch the stove, it's hot. And then when they go touch it, they be looking at you like, damn. They be looking at you like, why didn't you tell me the stove was hot? Nigga, I told you the stove was hot. God told us that this was a heathen custom that we ain't supposed to do.
Right.
And the thing is, man, and we read it earlier out of that CBS article, man. We read an article from CBS News, The Pagan Origins of Christmas. And we also read in Daniel, you know what I mean, the four beasts, the four kingdoms that came and ruled over our people. Now we're reading in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, why Christmas is wrong. That they deck it with silver and gold. Read on.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers. Now they take this tree, right? And they bring it in the crib. And they hammer it down. Keep going.
That it move not.
That it what?
That it move not.
Don't you do that in your house? Don't you bring that Christmas tree in and hammer it down in the corner and light it up and it don't move? That's also a fire hazard too. Like a lot of y'all gonna go out there, get that tree, put it in water, and then put it in the corner, and then act surprised when your house burned down or that you got a $600 Pico bill. When God said not to do this. And too many of our people claim to love God. Too many of our people claim to really love the Most High. And if you truly do, you would understand that these are things that our God said not to do. Go ahead, Ash.
If I could, I believe on the 24th, it's supposed to be cold as hell. I was just going to say, y'all need to make sure if you're going to run the bill, run it up for that heat.
Listen, it's going to be 10 degrees out here in Philadelphia, man, on like tomorrow and Saturday. Like, cut the heat on. Go out there, buy kerosene. Like, your electric bill already high. You behind on your Pico bill. I know y'all behind on your electric bill because I'm behind on mine. I ain't ashamed to say it. And you going to go out there and run it up even further for a pagan custom that God is against? Man, heat your house up, man, and throw that tree out the house. Like, don't put no mistletoes up. Don't buy a lot of y'all shabar. Like, a lot of y'all got kids that got 20 and 30 missing Google assignments, and you're going to buy them a PS5. Pay your bills. Pay your bills. Go ahead, Ash.
I could, you know what I'm saying? What's so happy about what you bring now? I just was, kind of thinking about this earlier. I'm like, our people, you know what I'm saying, especially in a lot of the homes of single mothers, it's like your child is 13 and you get high with your child. The child is 13 and you know your child is getting high and not going to school, but around Christmas time, they still get gifts and get rewarded. And it's like, you can't get them to do the right thing, but you still giving them gifts and y'all both doing the wrong thing and celebrating Christmas. And I feel like that's why, because you baby your children in a way where you lie to them about some magic man that bring gifts and not explaining to them how hard you got to work or instill the discipline in them to do the right things. Instead, they get PS5 when they be bad, and then they grow up being drug addicts and whatever the hell they want to do.
And that's the thing, Gosh, which is so heavy about what you said, man. A lot of our people work really hard, and you're about to go in your hard-earned money when you can go and pay bills, pay your rent, pay your mortgage, pay your car note. Right. And you're going to reward your child for the evil that they've done all year because you're evil and wicked. Why not choose righteousness? Why not choose to do what God said for once in your life? Because too many times, right? Too many times in our lives, man, that we've done the wrong thing and we wonder why our condition continues to fail. How about try doing the right thing? How about doing the right thing? How about throwing that tree out the crib, not celebrating these holidays and coming back into these laws, statutes, and commandments? That's what we need to do. Keep going, Shabar.
Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree.
They upright as the palm tree. Man, they sit right up in your crib. Go ahead.
But speak it not.
They don't speak. That tree don't talk. That tree don't talk in your house, but you worship it. You worship that tree because Christmas comes from Nimrod, man, in Babylon, where they would cut their heads off of the people that didn't worship, Nimrod after his death with his wife / mother, Semiramis. Nimrod was such an evil, wicked bastard that he married his mom. Like, goddamn. And then after he died and was killed, she came up with the idea of telling the people that his spirit is in the pine tree, the evergreen tree, and that you got to bring gifts and gold and silver. And if you didn't do it, they would chop your head off and put it on the damn tree. That's Christmas. Didn't know that, did you? And you can look all this up. You can fact check it. Don't take my word for it. Because listen, man, the Lord said to prove all things. And it's right here in this Bible. Keep going.
They must needs be born.
They must needs be born. How do you make the Christmas spirit be born? How do you do it? It starts with the defrosting of Mariah Carey and start playing that damn All I Want for Christmas Is You. It starts by playing that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. That's when it starts. That's where it starts. It starts with that. It starts with jingle bells. It starts, you know what I mean, when you're seeing all the confetti and all the different holiday traditions coming up, man, which the Lord is against. That's how you make it born. And let me give you one more. We could drop this, Shabar, because Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, is clearly talking about the Lord telling us not to celebrate Christmas. Now I'm going to hammer it home for y'all. Give me Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
This is Amos chapter 5, verse 21.
Go ahead.
I hate.
The Lord said what?
I hate.
We in the Bible. Amos chapter 5, verse 21. God said, I hate. I wonder what God hates. Keep going.
I despise your feast days.
I despise your feast days. What's the key word in this scripture?
Feast days?
Nah, what's the
Despise.
You almost did. What is Nah, that's big. Go ahead, Shabar.
Come God, I hate and I despise your feast days.
What's the key word that the Lord is telling us? Try again, Shabar, before I go. Try again with you, Chris. Give him a hand. The Lord said, I hate. God said, I hate and I despise your feast days, your Christmas, your birthday, your New Year's. We have high holy days. We got the Feast of Hanukkah that we celebrate now. We got the Passover. We got the Sabbath, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We ain't got to celebrate Christmas. You ain't got to get together with your family that a lot of y'all don't even like anyway. On the like Ashtawa. Hey, this is what kills me up. Half of y'all don't even like your family. You don't. You can't stand them niggas. And you telling me that you're gonna get together and fake it on the last Thursday in November? That's why as Blacks and Latinos, we gotta come back, man, and love each other like God said. And we can come together on any other day, man. Nosotros somos familia, Black man, Latino man, Native American, Indian man, and woman. We got to come back and do what our guys have to do. We ain't got to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. The hell with those things, man. Like the oppressor telling us that we got to celebrate it on that day. Let them do it. Let them do it. That's why the Lord said, I hate and I despise your feast days. Read on.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
He said, I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Man, that Christmas ham and that turkey that you were ready to make on Christmas, God ain't smelling that. We in Amos, the 5th chapter, in the 21st verse. The Lord ain't smelling none of that, man. He like, I ain't trying to smell in your solemn assemblies. A lot of you, I don't understand it anyway, man. Like y'all be in there, you know what I mean, cooking up abominations. You be in there making chitlins and hog maws and all this other garbage, man. You can't do that. You might as well live like Jeffrey Dahmer if you're going to be cooking like that in the kitchen. We got lawful food to eat on any other day. You can't be doing that, man. Latino, man. First Nation, man and woman. That's what's so important about it, man. The Lord said, I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Meaning God is saying, I'm not going to smell none of that. I ain't trying to smell it. I ain't even trying to. It's going up there, and the Lord is turning his nose from it. Read on.
Verse 22. Though he offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings.
The Lord is saying, though you cooking up this Christmas ham, though you cooking up this Christmas chicken and turkey and mac and cheese, keep going.
I will not accept them.
The Lord said, I will not what?
Accept them.
The Lord said he ain't going to accept it. Why is he saying he's not going to accept it? He's saying he's not going to accept it because it's wrong. And a lot of you know it's wrong. Like Christmas is the celebration of the winter solstice, Saturnalia. You know it's wrong, but you perpetuate a lie. Like, first of all, like, can I be real with y'all for a minute? My parents told me, don't lie. Don't be a liar. So you're going to, and then tell me that, that some oppressor came down and brought gifts to my home and we don't even have a chimney. Half of y'all didn't have a chimney growing up. I know you ain't have a chimney, Chris. Shabari had no chimney. I ain't got no chimney. I don't think I've been in a home that had a chimney. Like, goddamn. Like, for real. And then you perpetuate these lies. Like, what traditions and what morals are you passing down to the children? Go ahead, Ashtawa. Listen, man, and which is so important about it, right? The Lord said he's not going to accept it. So we can't accept it. We can't accept it. Like if God's not going to accept it, why should we? Go ahead, Ash.
I was just gonna say, what they go to show is we more scared to disappoint the oppressor than we are to disappoint the Most High God. Because the Bible tells you not to do none of the stuff that we do and following after these pagan customs. Like it should be obvious, and a lot of our people know, but we are rather not disappoint the oppressor and them kids that don't listen to us than to serve the Most High God.
Listen, and don't be afraid to tell the kids no.
Right.
Don't be afraid to tell the babies, yo, we're not celebrating Christmas. We're not celebrating these holidays, man. You can give your babies a gift any other day. If I wanted to buy my daughter a PS5, I'll buy her a PS5 on another day. I don't got to do it on Christmas. I don't got to go broke for that. And a lot of y'all got wives. Let me tell you, nah, brother. A lot of you, let me tell you something. And that's what's going to get a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers was with me until I said that. A lot of y'all got wives that if you don't buy them a Christmas gift or you don't buy them something for their birthday, it is the end of your marriage. You know, you can forget about just sleeping on the couch. You know you getting put out the crib. You know you're gonna be at your mama house, your dad house. You be knocking on my door like you're dying. Can I sleep on the couch? I'd be like, God damn, Mike, you ain't getting that Christmas gift, did you? Come on up in here, man. I got thrown out too. And listen, man, you're doing it for the Lord. You're doing it for God's sake. Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Standing up and doing what the Lord said to do? That makes you righteous, man. It makes you righteous. You ain't got to conform. You know what a lot of it is, Ashtawat? It is peer pressure. Like they love to demonize us. Like you're a bad parent that you didn't go broke and not pay your bills to get them kids that are failing every subject, that are just out of control, Christmas gifts. No. You know what you should do on Christmas this year? Throw that tree out. Don't buy no gifts. Work with them babies, man. Get them right. Work with them and raise. The Bible says to train a child up, right in the way, of the Lord, that he will not depart. They won't depart from righteousness if you raise these kids up right, man. It ain't gonna kill them not to have a tree. It ain't gonna kill them not to have gifts on that day when you can do it any other day. Come on, man. That's why we got to get back to what we do. That's why we got to get back to the Feast of Hanukkah. Now let's go into that. Give me 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1, Baba Kushal. Let me get 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. This is what we got to understand as the Lord's chosen people, man. Now we're about to go into Hanukkah on why it is important. Why it is important to remember these high holy days and these feast days, man. Hanukkah is a feast day of the Lord. It's an observance, man. It's not a high holy day, but we are to remember, what these righteous brothers did, man. Give me 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1.
This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians.
Now, we read in Daniel, the 7th chapter. Now, wait a minute, Chris. I went over this in Daniel, the 7th chapter. Now, Alexander, they call him Alexander the Great. He ain't nothing great about that devil, man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. We call him Alexander the Greek, Alexander the Gay. There's a lot. The Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian. The Macedonians were Edomites, man. The oppressors, the Greeks. Read. And it said, and he had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes. Now, we read about that in Daniel, the 7th chapter. Darius, was the king of the Persians and the Medes. That was the Persian bear that represented them. And Darius has smitten Babylon, man, and Nebuchadnezzar. Now Alexander is coming to power, as you can see from me. Like a leopard, clothed with leopards. Keep going.
And Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
That he reigned in his stead first over Greece. Now he reigned first over Greece. Now, this is the rise of white supremacy. That's what this is. That is what symbolizes Alexander the Greek in the Greek Empire. The rise of the oppressor's society, of their world. Keep going.
Verse 2, and made many wars, and won many strongholds.
He made many wars and won many strongholds, man. Meaning he waged war. He circumnavigated the entire earth, man. They came out there and came up against everybody and won many wars and many battles. Keep going.
And slew the kings of the earth.
And slew the kings of the earth. He slew the kings of the earth, man. Keep going.
Verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations.
And took spoils of many nations, man. He took spoils of many nations. Man, and he conquered many nations and took over and took from them, man. Raped, robbed, and pillaged. That sound like the oppressor? Keep going.
And so much that the earth was quiet before him.
Mm-hmm.
Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 4, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Now, Alexander began to rule over many different countries. Now he's in charge. Now Esau's world is on top. Keep going.
Verse 5, and after these things he fell sick.
He got syphilis because he was a whoremonger and a homosexual. That is what Alexander the Greek died of. The Lord got a funny way of getting you too. We're going to go after that too. That's why the Lord said, man, in Isaiah 47 and verse 3, is that thy shame shall be seen and I will not meet thee as a man. The Lord has sent a disease, man, and get you. For real, Salakia. COVID-19, Omicron, super gonorrhea. Keep going. You know, Shabar, we was coming up, you know what I mean? You can just get a, you know what I mean? You know, you can just get a shot for half of that. Gonorrhea doesn't involve. Gonorrhea then went ultra instant, gosh to what? Gonorrhea got a devil fruit now. God damn. Keep going. I mean, that's a One Piece reference for y'all anime brothers that watch anime. Go ahead.
And perceived that he should die.
He knew he was about to die because he was like, hey, and the Lord struck me with something. I'm getting ready to check. Keep going.
Verse 6, wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with them from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
Now he parted his kingdom amongst them. Now, when we read in Daniel where it says, you know what I mean, that he had 4 heads, that's talking about those that ruled after Alexander. That's talking about Ptolemy and all them other duff, forget their names. You know what I mean? Understand this. Now they're starting to reign in his stead after he died. But then one rose up after among them called Antiochus. Now, as a matter of fact, let's drop down to that. Drop down to verse 10.
Verse 10, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus.
Now, came out of them was a wicked root. Out of them was a wicked man, more wicked than them, named Antiochus. Keep going.
Surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Now,
he had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 7th year of the 107th year of the kingdom of the Greeks, man. Now, a new wicked ruler rose up, you know what I mean, after Alexander out of those 4 Antiochus. It ain't no different than Donald Trump or Broadway Joe Biden. It ain't no different than them. Keep going.
Verse 11, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
In those days rose up out of Israel wicked men. Now you got wicked men that rose up out of Israel. Keep going.
Who persuaded many.
Who did what?
Persuaded
many. Now you got wicked brothers that came up out of Israel. And who are them wicked brothers that came out of Israel? That's your Christian pastors today. Those are your Christian pastors today. Those wicked men. And how do you know that they're the wicked? I'll tell you. I'll tell you right now. And which is so important, right? What we need to realize, right? It says out of those days came out of Israel wicked men. Keep going.
Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
A covenant means an agreement. These wicked men that came out of Israel, meaning wicked Uncle Toms and Uncle Tomahawks, came out of Israel and they said, let us go and make a covenant. A covenant is an agreement. An agreement with who? With who, Chris?
The heathen.
With the heathen. They say, let's go serve the oppressor. Let's go serve Rome. Let's go serve the Greeks. That's what they said. Let us come and make a covenant with the heathen. Shabar, can you pick up from verse 12? Yeah, Khan, go ahead. Finish the end of verse 11.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11, in the middle. Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us.
So let's go make an agreement with all these oppressors round about us, because now you got to understand the time frame, right? First of all, Daniel warned us. We was just in Daniel, the 7th chapter, man. Daniel warned us of the abomination of desolation when the Greeks and Romans would come in and sacrifice pigs on our altars. Even Christ told us, man, when these things start to happen, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of Dodge. Be out of town by Sunday. Now, when these things started to happen, a lot of our people fled, but some of us ain't listening. We went through some rough times, man. We went through some rough times, Israel. Salahi. Keep going.
Oh God, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
We've had much sorrows following after them, man. So what good has come out of our people celebrating Christmas? What good has come out from being integrated in the oppressor society? I use the word integrated because that is what happened to our people. We become indoctrinated in the society of Esau, of the oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Now you're celebrating Christmas. Now you're going out there at the drop of a hymn and the drop of a dime and hat to go buy gifts for kids that are failing in school. You're going to neglect all your bills and your rent, you know what I mean, and that mortgage, so you can do the work after your oppressor, daddy. That's why the Lord's, this is what makes this chapter just so heavy, man, that just gets glanced over, Shabar, is that now we've had much sorrow after doing these things, man. I mean, we can't catch a break. Listen, in Daniel, we was in the 7th chapter, which is a heavy chapter, man. It said that they would wear out the saints of the Most High. The oppressor wears us out. Like, wears us out, Shabar. You know what I'm talking about, man. We be at camp, and the oppressor is just relentless. We be like, damn, Esau working hard. And what we need to realize, man, that's how things are. But to make things a lot better is to come and get your identity back and coming into the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, man. By not conforming to the oppressive society and world, man. You can't continue to do that. Read on.
Oh God, verse 12. So this device pleased them well.
It says this device pleased them well. Let's find out what the device is. Keep going.
Oh God, verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein.
Now listen, it says this device, you know what I mean, pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein. Meaning some of the people saw this device, saw what we was getting ready to get into and do, that it pleased them, and they were so forward. And they were so stubborn. Read on.
That they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
It gave them license to do the ordinances of the heathen. What are the ordinances of the heathen? I'll tell you what the ordinances of the heathen is, man. You ever wonder why them stadiums is packed when the football comes around? You ever wonder why when the World Cup comes around that them fields and them arenas are packed to capacity? The soccer field, the gridiron, and the basketball arenas, they are the modern day coliseums, according to God. And we're reading about it. This is history. In 1 Maccabees, in the Apocrypha, in the 13th verse, it says certain of the people were so forward therein, they went to the king who gave them license to do the ordinances of the heathen. Now you want to go play basketball with the oppressor. Like, you want to go play football with the oppressor. You want to go play baseball. We got the Negro League, but you got to go play in the MLB. When we were better than all them oppressors, man. Jackie Robinson came into the MLB, the Major League Baseball League, and was better than every oppressor. And here's the thing. Jackie even said it. He said, their brother's better than me in the Negro League, and I'm better than all of you. It's a downgrade. Goes to show you, man. We got to get back to that. I think Kyrie was talking about that. Kyrie said we need our own leagues. He's right about that. We do need our own leagues. Could you imagine, right? And that's what Deion Sanders did. Now, I mean, I'm not surprised because Christ said it'd be hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. It'd be easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle for a rich man to make it into the kingdom. For this reason, the rich man don't want to give up his riches. Deion could not wait to get out of Jackson State to go play with the oppressor. But could you imagine if we decided to build up HBCUs, to build up our own leagues, man? Build up our own leagues to play football and basketball and baseball. It ain't unlawful to play these sports. But imagine if we had our own leagues to do it. We'd be all right. We'd be better off. But now you got to play in the NFL. You got to play, you know what I mean? I'm Tawab, boy, it's the water. Oh, a little bit of brisket on there? It's a lot. It's a lot, yeah. I take it. The water, Ashtawa made the best brisket of all of Israel. You know what I mean? I had to double check. I said, hold up. That smells a little too familiar. Now, understand this, man. The Coliseum today is Lincoln Financial Field. You were going back there to watch the gladiators. You was watching Spartacus and them in the arena to fight to the death. Now you go see Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. You go see Miles Sanders against Micah Parsons. You watch Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson. There's why the scripture says in Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 11, there is no new thing under the sun. Keep reading, Shabar.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem.
They built a place of exercise. Now we got the Coliseum in Jerusalem. And what do they do to distract blacks and Latinos from what's going on around us? Entertainment. Shut up and dribble. Throw that football. Throw that baseball. Run that field. Keep going.
At Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
According to the customs of the heathens. Because that's heathen customs right there. We ain't supposed to be doing that. It's not unlawful to play sports. But damn, can we have our own leagues? Would that be so bad? If we had our own leagues, Ashtawa, it wouldn't be. It'd be an amazing thing. We woke up one day and had our own leagues, man. Keep going.
Verse 15.
Come to what?
And made themselves uncircumcised.
They made themselves uncircumcised, man. Meaning they stopped keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments. They made themselves uncircumcised to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate Saturnalia, to celebrate New Year's. Keep going.
And forsook the holy covenant. And joined themselves to the heathen.
And joined themselves to the heathen. They joined themselves to the heathen, man, and was sold to do mischief, man. Let me get a time check, Ashtawa. Young man Chris, pick it up. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1. What'd you say, Ash? Most High in Christ. We on schedule. Now let me get First Maccabees. Let me get First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 1.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 1.
Go ahead.
In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the son of Joram, from Jerusalem, and dwelt in Madi. Verse 2.
Now it says Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simon, a priest of the son of Joram from Jerusalem. Keep going.
Verse 2. And he had 5 sons. Jonah, called Cadus. Verse 30. Simon, called Dasi. Verse 4, Judas, who was called Maccabeus.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5, Eleazar, called Abiram.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan, whose surname was Ephes.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6, and when he saw the blasphemy,
And he saw what?
the blasphemy,
Man, Mattathias saw all of the blasphemies, saw all of the evil that was going up in Jerusalem, man, at the hand of the Romans and the Greeks. Keep going.
that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
Verse 7, he said, woe is me.
He said, man, woe is me, destruction to me. Mattathias saw what was going on in Israel, and man said, man, this ain't right. This is wrong. Keep going.
Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people?
He said, wherefore was I born to see the misery of my people. Like Mattathias saw atrocious things going on with our people, man. Going on. Like around this time period too, man, which was so evil. Like the Greeks and the Romans, you know what I mean, did horrendous things to us. And they still do. Like one sister, man, was starving so bad that she ate her own baby. Ate her own baby. Like you had brothers eating the leather off their belts and eating the gold, man. Where in the Romans, when they would come find our dead body, they would cut our bellies open, knowing there was gold in there, man. That's why the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. Keep going.
And of the holy city,
Mm-hmm.
and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy.
It was delivered into the hand of the enemy, man. Like our land, man, was given into the hand of the enemy. Shabar, give me in First Ezra. The zeal of it's the precept is worst of all, the zeal of Zion, the seal of Zion. Yeah. Yeah, it's in first, I believe it's in First Ezra. We're gonna come back to this, Chris. Give me where it says and worst of all, the seal of Zion. Goes to show you, man, like just how evil the oppressor is. Goes to show you just how evil America is, man. I believe it's in Ezra. If not Ezra, Ecclesiasticus, but I believe it's in Ezra. Let me know when you got it. You got it?
Come.
Go ahead, read that precept for me.
2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And which is the greatest of all?
And which is the greatest of all? Keep going.
The seal of Zion.
The seal of Zion, man. What is the seal of Zion? It's right here, man. This Dawa. A lot of y'all think, oh, it's the seal of Molech. It's idolatry. This is a Dawa, dummy. This is the seal of Zion. This is David's signature, man. The Magun Dawa. Got nothing to do with Molech. Got nothing to do with paganism, man. Like, this is the seal of Zion, man. When David would sign his name, this was the Magun Dawa. Keep going.
Come. Zion has now lost her honor.
Has lost. Read that last part again, Shabar.
Come. The seal of Zion has now lost her honor.
The seal of Zion has now lost its honor, lost her honor. How? Because the oppressor's wearing it now. The oppressor think he a Jew and he's not a Jew, but the devil that the Bible speaks of. El hombre blanco es el diablo. Atah lo Yehudi, Atah lo Jacob, Yatah Shatan, Yeraskalev, Edomi Kalev, Shenton Kalev. He ain't no Jew. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And black man, Latino man, we can't be anti-Semitic by definition, man, because we're the real Jews of antiquity. Keep reading. Is there more?
God. For she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us.
And delivered into who?
Into the hands of them that hate us.
They delivered into the hands of them that hate us. Kosher deal, that devil and his people. Them rabbis, you know what I mean, that stole our identity. Understand this, man, which is so evil. It is so evil and it is so wicked. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. This was delivered unto the enemy that hate us. So-called Jew hates us, man. Because they're the same people as the Greeks and the Romans. Same people. They got the same daddy, Esau. Out of woman in Hebrew. He is wasted away as he. Red dog, the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's a Shabbat. The water for that precept. Chris, let's go back to where we were. First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 9.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity.
Her glorious vessels, man. They took all the gold, all the silver, ransacked our temples, came in, you know what I mean, and killed us, raped the women and children and the men, and just took everything from blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians. Keep going.
Her infants are slain in the streets.
Our infants are slain. Read that last line again.
Her infants are slain in the streets.
Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Dante Wright, our babies, man. That's why the scriptures say in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 49 to 50 and 51 says a nation of fierce countenance which would not regard the person of the, you know what I mean, to the man of old or to the young. Meaning this, man, he don't give a damn. Oppressor don't give a damn how old or young we are, man. He will kill us in cold blood. He will kill us in cold blood. Keep reading.
Her young men with the sword of the enemy. Verse 10. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom?
Listen, all of these other nations, he said, what nation have not had any part in her kingdom? You can make me big, Ash. We got to have Alexander up there again. He says, what nation have not had a part? Meaning all these other nations are in conjunction with America. All of these other nations are in league with the Romans and the Greeks, man. They're in league with America, man. Babylon, the great whore. Keep going.
And gotten of her spoils. Verse 11. All her ornaments are taken away.
Man, all our ornaments are taken away. They took away the gold, took away the silver, took away everything. Keep going.
Of a free woman, she has become a bond slave.
Hey, you can make that big too, Ash. This is a visual of it, man. Taking our ornaments, took which is so heavy, man. Like took the menorah, took away the gold. I believe Jeremiah hid the Ark of the Covenant. He was able to hide that, but goddamn, man, took all of this away. They did that to our people, man. Disenfranchised us, took away our identity. Go ahead, Ash.
For the people that believe that the Bible is some fantasy book, this is called the Arch of Titus, and there's a book of Titus in the Bible about him. You see what I'm saying? Like, there you go, right here. This is the evidence right here. They painted a monument of them stealing our stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And which is so heavy, what I.S.U.P.K is bringing up is just so heavy. You know what I mean? The Titus is I.S.U.P.K. You know what I mean? Is represented in the Bible was a black man who came up under Paul. You know what I mean? And guess what? He was like, God damn, he saw all this. The disciples saw all this. Now the Titus, you know what I mean, of this, you know what I mean, was under the Greeks and the Romans. You got to understand, this Titus right here, this is them coming in and taking away our gold, taking away, you know what I mean, our silver, taking away all these things. Titus, Ptolemy, what's the other one's name? Titus, Ptolemy, Titus's father. Forget his. Go ahead.
Caesar Vespasian.
Caesar Vespasian. You know what I mean? Yeah, Caesar Vespasian. You had Augustus Caesar. Titus. I believe it was Titus' son, Tiberius. I believe it's Tiberius. The one that was in I'm sitting up here tripping. I.S.U.P.K. It's right here. I got it right here. That's the Lord, Shabbat. And how do I know to go back to this same page? Right here. I'm gonna read it myself. As soon as I open the book and put my finger there, what do I find? This is from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem in 70 AD. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son Titus, the Titus that I.S.U.P.K is talking about, man, depicted in this picture, put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter. that during the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Why did 1 million Jews flee into Africa? Fleeing from Roman persecution, fleeing from Vespasian and Titus and Pompey. That's why we fled over there to Africa. We ain't Africans, man. We ain't Africans. We're the Jews of antiquity, man. And from fleeing from Roman persecution, the slave market, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets were full of black Jewish slaves. That's right here. Right there. Right here in that paragraph, right there. Right here. In Babylon to Timbuktu. Right out the book. Pray you understand. That's what he's fleeing. Fleeing from them. But those that stayed, Mattathias and his righteous sons, man, saw all this go down. And guess what? Guess what? And they stood strong. Drop down to verse 15, Chris.
Verse 15. In the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city minded.
Man, they came in there and they wanted our people to revolt. They wanted our people to get down with them. Keep going.
To make them sacrifice.
To make them sacrifice. Now, they want our people to sacrifice. They want our people, you know what I mean, to continue in their pagan customs. To eat, you know what I mean, to eat of the pork and the swine's flesh. Keep going.
Verse 16. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together.
Now, Mattathias and his sons came together. Now, they came together. Read on.
Verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on the wise, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man. They
came to Mattathias and said, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man. Man, Shabar, they came up to Mattathias trying to game him up. They said, but Mattathias, you an honorable man. You a great man. You a ruler of your people, man. Just come and talk to us for a minute. Let me holler at you. Let me pull you to the side. Go ahead.
In this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren.
Was heavy about that. They said, man, you got righteous sons, man, strong sons. You got brothers around you that follow you. They respect you, Mattathias. Keep going.
Verse 18. Now therefore come thou first.
He said, therefore come thou first. Meaning you need to be the first one to celebrate Saturnalia. You need to be the first one to celebrate Christmas. Keep going.
And fulfill the king's commandment.
And fulfill the king's commandment. The king's commandment was this, man. The king's commandment was that, as a matter of fact, which is just so heavy, what our people need to understand. Shabar, go back to 1 Maccabees, right? Chapter 1 and verse 41. I'm gonna come back to this, Chris. I should, man, this is a heavy point. What was the king's commandment? 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. Let's find out what the king's commandment was. Go ahead.
1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
He wrote to his whole kingdom. He commanded his whole kingdom to do this. Go ahead.
That all should be one people.
That all should be one people. Go ahead, Shabar.
This is similar to like the Tower of Babel, we try to gather everybody together.
Give Shabar a hand. Because there's no new thing under the sun. I'll give you another one. In America, we're all Americans. All men are created equal, except for you niggas, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. Y'all savages. Y'all three-fifths of a man. You see the trend? You see the pattern? America is Babylon. America is Rome. America is Egypt, man. Antiochus said, yo, everybody needs to be one. And being one, keep going.
Verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws.
Everyone should what?
leave his law.
They said everyone should leave his laws. Man, leave the Lord alone, man. Leave the Most High alone. Come and do the King's commandment. Come eat pork. Come eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. Don't you understand what they doing? They gaming us up. And which is just so heavy about this, right? The heathen notice in Judah chapter 5. Give me Judah chapter 5, verse 20. Give me Judah chapter 5 and verse 20. Keep going, Shabar Zakia.
Come. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Man, listen. It said all of the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Keep going. Read verse 43.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
It said many of the Israelites consented unto his religion. Keep going.
And sacrificed unto idols.
And sacrificed unto idols. They started to celebrate Saturnalia. They started to celebrate Christmas. Keep going.
And profaned the Sabbath.
And profane the Sabbath. We can drop that. And the penalty for not doing the king's commandment was death. That's why they came to Mattathias trying to game him up, talking about, you a righteous man. You are honorable man. You got strong sons, strong brothers that follow you. Come and be the first one to eat this pork and celebrate this Saturnalia, this Christmas with us. Let's see what Mattathias said. Keep going, Chris.
Verse 17. Verse 18. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done.
You see the Chinese, they came and did it. The Japanese came and did it. The Arabs came and did it. How do you know they did it? Shabar, I remember Salaki, but we politically wrong in the Israelite school of U.P.K. I remember, like you see what I got on my head? This is a mitri. This is a glorious priestly apparel that the Lord ordained, man. That shit that the Arabs and East Indians be wearing, them towels on their heads, Salaki, that is not of the Lord. That is them trying to attempt what we do. You see, they cover their heads. Our heads ain't covered. Yeah, I mean, this is righteous and glorious. What they do is not. They be wearing, you know what I mean, carpets, you know what I mean, and them dresses that the Muslims be wearing. Do they wear that now? Arabs wear suits. Listen, man, the Japanese, let me tell you something. The Japanese used to be samurai, ninja, Sengoku, you know what I mean, having the big Japanese army, the armor and the katanas and the crazy looking masks, you know what I mean, and whatever gods they was worshiping, guess what? They don't do that now. They got suits and ties. Konnichiwa. The Chinese do it too. They don't serve Buddha no more. They say Merry Christmas. Sheshemi. They do that. They conform, just like how the other heathen do. So when they saying what the other heathen did, they throw their gods away. The East Indians got Shiva. Shiva is where they get them dreadlocks from. It's where you get dreadlocks from. You know what I mean? The one that's all blue, that got the dreadlocks in their head, that's a man and a woman that do that. That's what? They celebrating Christmas in 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts, man. They conform to America and their society. And that's what they're telling us to do. In other words, they're telling us to get down or lay down. Let's read Mattathias' response.
Yea, and the men of Judah also.
He said, listen, the men of Judah also. You got some Uncle Tom Negroes and Uncle Tomahawks that came out and did it. Because we got traitors amongst our people, man. And guess what? You got to wake up, Latino man, First Nation man, Black man and woman, celebrating Saturnalia, celebrating Christmas, celebrating New Year's and Thanksgiving. Go ahead, keep going.
And such as remain at Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
So shalt thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends.
He said, but Mattathias, you be one of the king's friends if you do this. You'll be one of the king's homies. You'll be in good gracious. What's that today? Shaq. If you just denounce Kyrie, we give you more Papa John's. We'll give you more silver and gold. Yeah, I think Kyrie's an idiot. You know what I mean? This is, you can't go out there and talk about the white man. You know, the white man, our daddy, he signed our paychecks. You can't disrespect the one that signed your check. He said that. Shaq said, how you gonna disrespect Adam Pierce? Adam Pierce is Jewish. Yeah, I mean, you disrespecting the one that signed your checks. That's real disrespectful to him. Well, Shaq, you disrespected us by co-signing Papa John's, man. Papa John said, yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm out there calling you niggas like Colonel Sanders. And you stood with that devil, Papa John, man. Stood with him. Stood with him. But you condemned Kyrie. You a wicked nigga, man. Just like Charles Barkley, man. Goes to show you, man. I'm gonna get to you in 1 second, Oscar, but I got to say this, man, which is just insane. And then you stand with Papa John, and then they come and they took Papa John's from Papa John. Be your own niggas, Chris. Papa John's. It be your own niggas. Took his name from him, then gave it to a nigga. Goddamn. Then you got Charles Barkley. Isupk, pull up the picture of Charles Barkley with the slave shackles on. I might go over 5 minutes tonight, Oscar. I might pull a Captain Shapar myself. We're gonna be here at 10 o'clock. Salaki, I might pull a Captain Shapar myself. But I just need the picture of Charles Barkley. Talk about, Kyrie Irving's an idiot. And y'all eat it up. Y'all eat it up. You got Stephen A. Smith. How can I forget about Stephen A. Smith, Shapar? Stephen A. Smith was like, I'm angry. It's blasphemous. Jerry Jones don't deserve this. I said, this nigga. He said Jerry Jones don't deserve this. Jerry Jones went out there in 1955 and tried to stop Black and Latina men and women and babies from going into an integrated school, throwing rocks, getting ready to fight us, and you defending that devil, talking about he was a child. Tamir Rice was a child. He was a child. Trayvon Martin was a child. Emmett Till was a child. There are millions of our Latino brothers and sisters, man, that are children at the border right now being molested at night, sleeping on concrete floors, man. Those are our babies. But you want to defend the oppressor. Look at this nigga here. Look at this nigga here. Look at it. He took the silver and gold. He took it. What Black man in his right mind or Latino man in his right mind, Chris, would do this? One that's a comfortable slave. One that wants to do the ordinances of the heathen. That's why our God said we can't do that. If it had been Charles or Shaq or Stephen A. or Steve Harvey, you say I get to have my own show. Guess what? We'd be further messed up, Ash. Barakatah Yahweh was shot, and Mattathias and his sons were righteous men, man. They were righteous brothers, man. Righteous brothers that stood up for the Most High and said, "The hell with that." Because they tried to game him up when Charles would have took it. Shaq would have took it. Stephen A. Smith, Steve Harvey, they would have took that silver and that gold, Akim. I'm trying to tell you. Keep reading. No, matter of fact, go ahead, Oscar. You were going to say something. No, keep reading, Chris.
I'm on time. And thou and thy children shall be honored.
He said, you and your baby's going to be honored, man. You and your baby's going to be honored. You're going to be revered. And you'll only think about yourselves and your children. Well, you need to think about not just your kids, but all of our babies, all of our people. That's why the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohanna, we're the real priesthood of the Lord. It's something that Commander General Yohanna said that resonates with me in my mind. He was in a public forum at a church in Philadelphia and said, the problem is, man, you know what I mean, that y'all don't want to accept accountability. When it's our fault. He said, that's why every Black, Latino, and Native American man, woman, and baby that is impoverished, that is suffering, they are my responsibility. And I'm not going to stop, and I'm not going to let my officers stop. And we not going to stop. We like Diddy. Listen, we ain't stop. Can't stop, won't stop in the UPK. We're going to be out here raising our people up because we give a damn about blacks and Latinos. How do you know? We went to Acuna, Mexico to feed our Haitian brothers and sisters, man. We feed our Hispanic brothers and sisters in Acuna, Mexico, and the Rio Grande. We go down there and have these food drives and feed countless blacks and Latinos and raise our people up the right way in the UPK, man. I pray you understand that. Because the example was set and we live up to it. Our king ain't died for us to be weak and soft and sing and dance in a church and celebrate Christmas, Saturnalia, and the winter solstice. Our king died so we can go and raise up Israel. That's what he died for. And we do it in the UPK under Commander General Yahanna. I pray you understand that. The rest of you have fallen short. But don't worry, we're not going to fall short. We don't lose. We don't take L's. Keep going, Chris.
With silver and gold and many rewards.
You see that silver and gold, you'd say, oh, like Steve Harvey, I get my own show, my own radio show. All I gotta do is disrespect black and Latino men and women every day. They do it. They say, sign me up. You know why a lot of our people was really mad at Deion Sanders, like General Muhammad said? Because Shabar would have stayed at Jackson State to raise up HBCUs. Chris would have stayed there and took less money to raise up our people. I.S.U.P.K would have took less money. I would have took less money. Commander General Yahanna would have laughed and said, yeah, we're going to raise this up. We're going to raise up blacks and Latinos, man. We're going to rock the sports world. But Deion saw that money and said, it must be the money. That's why they can't be in charge. That's why they are not good leaders. You want a great leader? You got to follow Commander General Yahanna, man. Got to follow Commander General Yahanna, the Israelite School of UPK, because that is who Christ has ordained, man. Until Christ returns, Commander General Yahanna is in charge of all of Israel. Is in charge, and I pray you understand that. He don't sing, he don't dance, and he ain't gonna sell out. Why? Because Christ ain't sell out. Everybody else sold out. We don't sell out here. We don't. Because we're better than the rich man. We're better than the rich man. We're better than these heathens, man. We're better and bigger than Christmas, man. I pray you understand that. Let's read Mattathias' response.
Verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice.
Mattathias spoke with a loud voice, saying this. Keep going. You can make me big, Ash, on the screen.
Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him.
He said, man, all of the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him. He said, yeah, the Chinese, the Arabs, the Filipinos, and the Hawaiians, they obey the oppressor. Keep going.
And fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers.
Man, Arabs will throw Allah away to put on their suit and tie. The East Indians threw away Shiva. The Chinese threw away Buddha. The Japanese threw away their gods. Africans threw away Nut, Set, Amun Ra, all them gods for white Jesus. Read on.
And give consent to his commandments. Verse 20. Yet will I and my sons.
Mattathias said, yet will I and my sons. Meaning me and mine, me and my children. Guess what? Read.
And my brethren.
And my brothers, man. And my brothers. You know what we're going to do? Read.
Walk in the covenant of our fathers.
And will what?
Walk in the covenant of our fathers.
He said we're going to walk in the covenant of our fathers. We're going to walk in the agreement of our fathers because we was given these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. We was given these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's why I applaud every brother and sister that come up in the Israelite School of UPK, man. Every brother and sister that come up in here, that come in here and change their life and become a new man. It is a glorious thing to come in, especially if you're a brother, to come up, man. I know a brother. Listen, I.S.U.P.K, this is the big upper brother. I'm going to come to you in 1 second. The big upper brother. I know a brother that came up in here. I don't know where he came from. It felt like he came off a chariot. And I told this brother, I said, like from the captain's orders, I said, nah, we ain't going to have too many young men in our Hebrew Academy. This brother went over our heads. This brother went over our heads, I.S.U.P.K. When he went over our heads and got in, became an officer. He broke them chains, man. He came up in there and came up strong, man. Goes to show you, man, you rock them covers, man. You got to let our people know that we here for our brothers. What was the moniker, Shabal? For the blood of our brothers? We out here for our people, man. To raise our brothers up, man. To raise our sisters up. And that's what Mattathias was about. We cannot forget the covenant of our fathers, these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. We can't forget about the sacrifice that our king made to celebrate Christmas. We can't throw that away to celebrate your birthday, your Valentine's Day, or Mother's Day, or Father's Day. And a lot of you are going to fall weak around this time. That's why the scripture says, Shabar, give me in Timothy. Give me in Timothy where it says endure hardness. I believe it's 2 Timothy 2:1. I believe it's that. I'm going to try to get there with you. I believe it's 2 Timothy. Give me endure hardness like a good soldier of Christ. Give me that. Give me that. Let me get that. That's what we have to do. But go ahead, Osh, before we get that scripture.
I could too. Was so heavy. You know what I'm saying? And big shout out, like you was bigging up everybody coming into this truth. It's a big up to everybody coming in here and seeing the other fake Israelite groups and decide they want to do it right. They want to get on the narrow path. They don't want to wear all purple or all white or be somewhere surrounded by somebody that sell the Lord short at what He required of us, and make it to where certain laws and certain things you don't got to do. So like,
man, what you bringing up is just so heavy, man. And listen, our people need to realize that, man. You could tell by just observing these fake groups, man. By looking at the Christian church and Muslim minds, like, yo, this ain't the way to go. The way to go is 1 West 125th Street, and it never died. The I.S.U.P.K is still here because Commander Gen.YAHANNA never dropped his sword, and we still going strong. That's why we got to do this. Read what you got, Shabbat.
2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness.
Endure what?
Endure hardness.
We have to endure hardness, man. We have to endure hardness. Like Mattathias and his sons, man, they endured hardness. They said, man, Mattathias said, we're going to serve the Lord. Me and my house, we're going to serve the Most High. That's how we have to be coming up in this truth. That's why I applaud every young brother, because I know how hard it is. It's hard to look at what's going on out here in America because, listen, man, this is rough. And then to change your life, to put on that all black and decide to change and become, something different. To put off that old man and become a new man, a new woman, man, for a brother, put on that all black and wearing that black headpiece, man. To be wanting to become a trooper is a righteous thing. And I applaud every brother that do it. And to be a young sister to come up in here, to come up in here and put on a head wrap and to dress modestly, to stop living that evil, wicked lifestyle, being a whore or being a brother, a whoremonger, eating shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster is an amazing thing. That's what our king died for, so we can have the opportunity to come back. And even with that, we have to endure hardness. Because if anybody told you it's going to get easier coming into this truth, no, it's not. Because now that you're out of Satan's hand, he's going to work 20 times harder to get you back in. You better endure hardness. You better not fold to want to celebrate Christmas or tell your daughter happy birthday or take your daughter trick-or-treating. Don't be a weak brother. Don't be a failure. Don't be a weak sister. Be a failure as a mother. Endure hardness. Keep going.
As a good soldier of Jesus Christ.
As a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. That's what we have to do. With that being said, man, this was the Thursday night history class. I'm Priest and Officer 1000, Yediah. Listen, man, I implore you all, man, to read in First Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 52 to 61. Read all of Maccabees, man, to understand what happened with Mattathias and his righteous sons and how Judas came up against with his brothers against the Greeks and the Roman Empire, man. It's a glorious thing. It's a glorious thing for us to come back to our identity and understand our history. And with that being said, man, I'm going to pass the class off to Priest and Officer Ashtawak. The announcement is right there, Will. The announcement is right there. Wow.
these I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We had I.S.U.P.K start on 1 West 125th Street Hall, New York. Move for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they're already for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. They need transportation, and people will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, and verse 21. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means 10 to Hebrew, from an I.S.U.P.K, 10% of every penny, any increase will give you give to the teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, upcoming holy convocations. Salaki, sir, what day we closing the feast?
Saturday.
We can close with the feast of dedication this Saturday. We still in the feast of dedication today. For my occupant, I walk, check the books for in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, headband, and scarf. And with that being said, Imagine, individual, if you can get this move, individual, Imagine, Shabbat, Imagine, Rock,
How about Shimmy Al Shabrak Thumb?
Judgment Top, class dismissed.
Hold up, I'm about to fuck your head up for a minute.